Hey everybody.
Hey, Steve.
Hey, I'm
Hey,
still
Hi,
dan-
Reagan.
I'm still
hello
dancing to
there.
the music. Hi Reagan. Here we are Saturday night at 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. my time. And
Yes.
6 p.m. Roman time, West Coast
Mm-hmm.
time.
Mm-hmm.
So, boy, we got a big show tonight. We have Paul Wells is here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we're going to try to stay focused on the show, and this time you will get to hear how his journey began. All right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But in the meantime, we have a special request. Linda wants to put out a special request.
First, I want to say a very big happy birthday to you, Steve. Um,
Oh, thank you. I forgot
we
it was my birthday.
we're so happy to have you as part of our family.
Yes, we
Thank you for reminding me I'm a year older.
So I only know very little. There's an emergency request for a dog that's in the Kansas area. I think he's about 5 years old. He was surrendered to the rescue for a fence had apparently fallen on him, and when someone went to pick up the fence, he bit them. So the family had to surrender him to the shelter to avoid being sued. Um, he has until the end of the day tomorrow before he's euthanized. We're closed for intake, but this is, I mean, as everybody knows, this is my passion right here. I hate to see a dog euthanized for any of those reasons. So if you can help, please message me or Reagan, and we'll give you the information that we have. And as I get information coming in, I'll relay that also.
And he could be a pure mix, but it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
This dog
yeah.
was put into a situation beyond his control.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
And um, so, at the end of the day tomorrow, this dog will no longer be around. We got to stop that.
Yes.
And then we got to work on some laws where they quit blaming the dogs for everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
anyway, here we go. Now we, hi Roman. We have Roman down here. Say hi, Roman.
Hi, Roman.
Roman.
Hello.
um, what do you think about that? How do we get these shelters to stop doing this? This is not the dog's fault.
Um,
Hmm.
There is no way, is there? Not. There's no good quick answer. Is the problem?
we
Mm-mm.
have we have to question the name shelter. I remember back in time when I was young, going to the shelter to be safe. But it seems to me like shelter equals concentration camp. You go in, you never get out.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm German. I know exactly what that means.
Yeah.
I'm Austrian, but the same. It's kind of like the same thing.
Right.
I think a dog going to the shelter. Um, it happened an accident, right?
Yeah, it was an accident.
It was an
A fence
accident.
had fallen. Yes. And then I think he had nipped at someone for throwing things at him. Um, So the dog defended himself, and of course he was wrong. So
Yeah.
um,
If you throw something at the wrong person, you might get shot. Okay.
mhm.
I
Depend.
tried to do that to an officer and got arrested. I don't know what happened.
Yeah. All
No,
right.
I'm just kidding.
Okay. We got to get going here. We Our stars of the show today are Gypsy and
And
Yogi.
Yogi. Mhm.
Yogi, just such an amazing dog. Now, Ellen couldn't be here because of timing, and well, she's got her hands full with many dogs, and
Mhm.
so we did a pre-recorded with her, and we're just going to get that one going right now. And
Mhm.
well, everybody, I want you to meet. I think we did Yogi or Gypsy. Well, let's just watch. Introduce our stars of the show, um, Yogi and Gypsy, huh, Linda?
Yes, two of
Um,
my favorites.
yeah. So uh, before we get, and we're pre-recording this, so just
Mhm.
to let everybody know,
Mhm.
because Ellen just couldn't make that schedule. So I'm going to bring them up because I see them down there.
Yeah.
Wow. Hi, Ellen.
Hi.
Hi,
Hi.
Ellen.
Which
Hi.
one's that?
That's Gypsy.
That's Yogi or Gypsy?
That's Gypsy.
That's Gypsy. Boy, she's a sweetheart. 2 to
Mhm.
3 years old.
Mhm.
what would be your best guess on how much she weighs? 80 pounds?
Yeah, at least 80, 90.
And
Yeah.
who's that gentleman standing in the middle of the mud puddle?
That would be Yogi.
Mr. Yogi. I tell you what, that's one
Mhm.
handsome boy when he's
Yeah.
muddy or not. That's one
Mhm.
handsome boy.
Mhm.
And everybody's seen that meme on Facebook where it shows the Pyrenees all in the mud and it says next stop the sofa. There's your boy.
Mhm.
He just
So-
let stand in the water.
Yeah, and he's it must be hot out there. At least there's no snow on the ground anyway down there in Missouri.
Not yet.
Well, the sun's out today, so
I
it
see
gets-
that.
it gets warm. Probably warm for him and
All
her.
right. What kind of let's since camera's on Yogi, what kind of home do you think Yogi would do best in?
I think Yogi is definitely an inside dog. He's totally housebroke. Very upset if he has to go potty in his outdoor kennel.
Wow.
I believe he's
Goodness
been
me.
trained not to get on the furniture. So he's very
So-
quiet. He's very
And how does he
calm.
do? How's he do on a leash?
He does good. He's very accommodating.
Okay.
He's very willing to do whatever you want him to do. He's good with other dogs. You would pretty much
Just get a kick out of his muddy feet.
I know. Next stop the sofa. Now we think he's right around 4 years old, right?
Yes.
right.
That's just a guesstimate, Steve.
Now he's kind of a big boy, isn't he?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Good. So, so Yogi, there you have it. I mean, he wants to be an inside dog. He gets very upset if he doesn't get to go potty in the grass. So that's a good sign. He's been in boarding since he's been in rescue. So because we don't have a foster, or but we just can't continue to keep boarding. Okay, but with Ellen, that's she's doing a great job. So Yogi, to adopt Yogi, you go out to GPRescue.com, current adoptables, and there he is. You can also read his bio there.
Mhm.
As a matter of fact, it's right there. So now let's move on to Gypsy for a second before she gets a complex on us.
Mhm.
The last time I saw Gypsy, she was really, really good looking girl.
Yes, she is.
She's
And
down
she's
here.
over yonder
She's down here hiding under the pear tree.
in the shade.
Yes.
All right.
Yep.
Steve, Gypsy came to us. Gypsy came to us heartworm positive. She has since finished her treat.
Awesome. That's amazing. And she's the one that didn't have any side effects to it.
Not at all. Ellen was telling me that you would never even have known that she went through anything at all.
She's beautiful.
She is.
Simply gorgeous. And now we think she's 2 to 3 years old.
Yes.
And what kind of home, in your opinion, would Gypsy need, Ellen?
Gypsy's a little more active. I think she needs a little, definitely some room to run. She's very, I'm trying to think of the right words. She's kind of a diva.
Kind of a diva. Now, there's a good word.
Yes.
Yeah. And while we get Ellen back up here, diva, boy, yeah, I like that.
She is. She is.
She's, the kennel diva.
Yes. When we first got her, Steve, she was an escape artist.
Wow.
I mean,
appear to be doing that now.
No, not since you worked with Ellen and her, and she's done fantastic.
So she prefers to stay home now.
She does. She just needs that. She needs to bond. She
And-
needs to know that she's safe.
Yeah. And she was labeled an escape artist because she was getting out, I believe, under the fence, if I remember right. But
Yes.
here's the thing: any Great Pyrenees, if you don't show any kind of relationship to them, they're going to leave.
Oh yeah.
So, escape artist, yeah, she knows how to do it. Is she really an escape artist? No, she thrives for humans. So
Yes,
and
she does.
she's absolutely classic living example of that.
Uh-huh.
So,
Mhm.
well, sure, I'm glad we got her up there because I don't see her coming back.
Right.
So, and she may not. So we got there's Ellen back. So we're gonna, as soon as her signal stabilizes. I was running out of things to say. Imagine that. Me of all people running out of things to say. Hi again, Ellen. Your signal went away, didn't it? So,
Yeah, she doesn't seem to have a good signal.
yeah, we're going to take you on back down, and we'll go ahead and end the segment because there we go. There's Gypsy again. Yes. So
You can find both of these dogs on our website too, Steve, with their bios and pictures, and you can read and learn all about Gypsy and Yogi.
GPRescue.com,
GPRescue.com.
And their bios are updated and are up to date. And God, look at her! Oh my God!
Yeah, look at that. I mean, oh, she's just stunning.
Oh my goodness! So, Ellen's gotten away from her Wi-Fi a little bit, but we're getting some great still shots here.
Yes.
All right, Ellen, thank you so much for doing this. And when the applications start pouring in, you'll be the first to know. Well, second to know.
Okay.
All right, Ellen, thank you so much.
Thanks, Ellen.
And that'll we're going to take her down so she can exit and take care of the dogs. But she's doing an excellent job on these dogs, isn't she?
Yeah, she really is. And Ellen is also runs her own rescue.
Yes.
So
those
she's
two aren't the only dogs she has.
No, it's not.
And she has very little help.
Yes, very little help, but she has a beautiful, beautiful facility there.
Yes, she does.
And the dogs are happy, and she spends all of her time with these dogs. She's excellent.
Yeah. Now I'm going to do this on the live show anyway, but I got to bring that one up with Yogi. He's just a stunning dog. Okay.
Yes, he is.
So anyway, there we have it. Yogi and Gypsy. Actually, the wrong order. Gypsy and Yogi.
Yes.
So thank you, Ellen, I know she can still hear us. Thank you for bringing them on, and we're gonna end this recording so we can move on.
All right. Awesome.
There we have it. Sometimes we get a signal issue and we run into things like this, but Yogi and Gypsy, they're being very well cared for. Thank you, Becky. It's kind of a passion of ours, I think, isn't it? So, GPRescue.com. That's where you go to read all about Gypsy and Yogi, and other dogs we have there. It's not just those two. All right, we have quite a few dogs up there. So, now I do want to. There's Gypsy, and now these are pictures I took off their profile. We're getting some new ones in, and you'll get a better look at them. Yogi's just a hot mess there, isn't he? He needed a bath. So but he sure is a good-looking dog. But so's Gypsy. And, of course, then again, they're Pyrenees. They have to be good-looking dogs. So, all right. So, GPRescue.com. If that's where it's happening, and right there's where you can read about them. And right there's where it's going to be happening for them and the other dogs we have. So now let's get moving on. Don't forget, we have Paul Wells down there in the green room, and our talking points tonight. Thank you, Peer Rescue. Yep, it's my birthday. Thank you. So we have Paul down there. Our talking points tonight is some of you, and we get a lot of calls like this, at least I do. Does your Pyrenees dictate who your guests are and when you can have them over? Okay. And when we usually get those questions is new dogs in the home. So they get settled in, and it's their home. So Roman's going to, give us a little bit of advice on that. I've got my take on that. Linda, she can give advice on this too. Linda's really doing very well when it comes to behavior and training. All right, she's turning into a superstar, and she's muted.
I was saying I don't get that question too often, but then again, my dogs are perfect, so I wouldn't expect that.
I love it. So I love it. Your screening process could help too, because
Yeah.
not everybody. Well, let's put it this way: I would probably be denied adopting one of her dogs. Okay.
I might be denied myself.
Right. That's what the show's about having fun. So, yes, Sharon, Yogi is very handsome.
Mm-hmm.
They don't come, other than Hanlon, they don't come much better looking than that.
I know.
So, for those of you in the Great Pyrenees Rescue Advice and Support Rebooted group, the reminder video I put out there of you was Hanlon, just so you know. All right. So we have some news, don't we?
We have a little news.
Yeah. First of all, it was that dog we made an emergency request for. That was a little bit of news. But what's our other news we have up and coming here?
Well, we have a fundraiser going on right now.
I love that color.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. They come in 5 colors. And they're adult sizes, small through, I think, 3XL.
Wow, I like that color too.
And they're really soft.
And they're hoodies.
And they're hoodies. And I have, this is last year.
Oh my.
A little bit different design. There.
Okay.
But they're just really soft and comfy.
They are super soft.
Yeah.
Good.
Order your hoodie. Help us help Great Pyrenees in need.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the bottom line. It helps rescue keep going. Okay.
That's right.
Because it does take funds, so we have to do fundraising. And this is a good one. Now, and the next one's one I'm really waiting on. Hats.
The hats.
Hats.
Yeah, we got to get Ken moving on that one.
Well, Ken, in all fairness, he asked for. There's 1,000 hats out there to pick from. I get it.
I know.
And I sent him. I think I sent him one or two that I liked. All right, but just because I like them doesn't mean it's a good hat. That just means I like them. I didn't put a hard hat out there. Okay, so but they're available. Just so you know. All right, so. GPRescue.com. Where do you go get those hoodies at?
So you can find the link on our All About Dogs page and also on our private page.
Okay.
Great Pyrenees Missouri page.
So the Great Pyrenees Rescue of Missouri, it's all about the dogs. That's one place. That's one. If you could be watching the show right from that page right now. So. How and where does one donate? That's a very good question. I do like that question. So there are multiple ways you can donate, right, Linda?
Yes, there are multiple ways. You could go to our website at gprescue.com and hit donate. And that goes directly to us. We also have other ways that you can donate. It doesn't have to be monetary. That we have wish lists on our website for our dogs. We often have fundraisers through Facebook. I'm not sure if that one's closed right now, Reagan.
It might be open.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but we have multiple ways, and they're all on our website, Steve. GPRescue.com.
That's what I thought, and and also there's other things out at the website too. So Amazon Smile, okay.
And we on wish lists and a few items from Chewy.
Yes.
Yeah. Sign up for Amazon Smile and put Great Pyrenees Rescue of Missouri into your Amazon Smile, and then they send the money there too. So But everything, if it's happening, right there is where it's happening. GPRescue.com. Okay. So, wow. That was a good question, too. And we got more questions up and coming here. And we've got an awesome producer tonight, too. Thanks, Ken. So, let's see. Max. We have a question, and I just don't understand it. Maybe we'll put it up there, and maybe somebody else will understand it. Oh, whoops. Boy, those questions are popping in fast, aren't they? So,
So Max was one of our dogs in need of a foster. His owner has cancer and is not able to take care of him. We did get a foster application for him, so we need to get that application vetted.
Yes. And if that
Oh,
foster is watching, we have not forgotten about it. We just
That's
haven't had a
right.
chance to get to it yet.
okay. Oh, and actually, John answered that question. So there we go. And
Mhm.
and Shannon says her friend's waiting to adopt Max. Wow. So Max is getting his good. Something will happen
Yes.
because yes, this is awesome.
We
Okay,
reach out.
this is amazing. Yes, sir.
Don't forget to share. Everybody who's watching, push the share button.
Mhm.
Add few words why they should watch that. Right? Because
That's right.
some post is being deleted because there's no title on it. So put some words in it. Hey guys, I love that show. I want to watch it. They're great dogs to be adopted. Share.
Share the
Yes.
show.
Share.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And we will always remember you for sharing our show. That's how the word gets out. So, all right, and thank you, Roman. Thank you for bringing that up. I forgot. So now we have a well, I don't know how else to put it. Paul, you're coming up. Hi, Paul. And we're gonna make you the star. Now you're muted, so you have to unmute yourself unless I muted you. Let me check it here. Yep, that was me. Sorry. So now, last week we strayed, and and we're not going to stray away this week. Other than the fact, I got to ask, how's Hazel doing?
She's doing good. Yeah, she's here right now. Her mastitis is just gone. I can't even tell which one it was, and her hair hasn't come back in yet, but her skin looks better. It used to be crusty and scaly, but it's gone. Her skin looks better. Um, she was playing today with the other dogs. I posted a couple of videos. They should be on the rebooted site of her playing and playing with Boo. And Boo had his procedure yesterday, a little snip snip, and he's just remarkable. He isn't missing a beat. He's just good.
Wow.
And
Hazel's there now.
She's here right now. Yeah, she's over on her couch, sleeping. And
we
one of
don't
the
get
great things about now that she's not nursing is I don't have to make concessions for her anymore. When she used to show up at 4 a.m, and I'd get out of bed and to go raid the refrigerator, raid the freezer, make sure she had plenty to eat, feed the other dogs so she could be left alone, and then love on her, and then make sure she ate the entire hour or two that she was here. And now it's just like, okay, I just feed you with the other dogs. You eat when they eat and eat what they eat, and that's fine. Just no more concessions. That's just such a load off.
Wow.
It's wonderful to do now.
So before you leave tonight, are you going to be able to put the camera on her?
I don't know the way this rig is.
Let's not stray like we did last week. All right. But, so, all right. So I'll tell you what, I don't know about everybody else, but I'm very curious about how your journey did begin.
Oh gosh, it's totally accidental, of course, and you got to know a little bit about the history and layout of the farm here. I'm in rural Kentucky, kind of hilly area. I got 50 acres. It's broken into 3 fields. It's longer back than it is wide, and at the time that the boys showed up, I already had 2 Shelties here. They were elderly Shelties, 15, 16-year-old Shelties. And they had a fenced-in area around the house. So they were inside the fence, and it was about 3/4 of an acre for them. It included the house and the deck. And so, and the Pyrenees showed up. They had to live outside the fence because they didn't mix. My Shelties would want to eat them alive, and it wouldn't go well. So they couldn't let them mix right away. It was totally accidental. They showed up when didn't have a plan for this. And the way the fencing is set up is that actually the outside of the fence gets to go to the walkout basement. So you can have dogs stacked on top of each other, one on the deck and one underneath the deck, and one's outside the fence and one's inside the fence. So you got to kind of understand the layout so it doesn't sound like I'm mixing things up. But so and I have to break the story up into 3 segments. There's the outside the fence segment, and then there's the inside the fence segment, then there's the inside the house segment, and then that does it. But how they showed up, simply a fluke here. One day I was just in my house. I just walked out my front door, and I looked at the fence row. And there's a fence row that is overgrown. You can't see what's on the other side of the fence row. You can completely traverse the farm on the other side of the fence row and not be seen, except for this tiny gap that's about 12 foot wide where the road comes up. And the same time I walked out, the dogs, Hagrid and Valk were passing that little gap right there. The timing was perfect. And I saw them, and I picked up 2 red plastic feed bowls, and I held them in the air, and I shouted to the dogs, "Here, come here, I got food." And they turn around and looked at me, and they start to lumber up kind of slowly my way. And so I rushed into the basement, filled up the bowls, came outside the basement and to meet the dogs. And wow, then I got a closer look at them. They were awful. I don't know what you want to say. They're like rag mops or muskin, or they're just their fur was just matted so badly. And does anyone know what a cocklebur is? It's something that's in Kentucky and around here. It's the big bird about the size of a grape, and it is stickly, and it is a painful bird. And they were completely coated in these cockleburs, just matted with cockleburs. And their tails were like clubs. They had so many burrs, and when they swung their tails, they'd hit you they'd like a club. They had hair hanging off of them that looked like a sea fan that was on a stalk. So when they walked, there'd be this clump of hair that was just waving at you and bouncing around. I don't even think they could even move properly. I think they had so many burrs in them that they couldn't move their legs far enough or pick their heads up far enough. It was just awful. When I tried to pet them the first time, it was just painful. The birds were so many, poor things. I just felt so sorry for them, and they looked like they were ancient. I thought I picked up a couple of elderly dogs, and I was going to be maybe giving them some hospice care for another year or 2 of their life or something like this. And so immediately let them feed, and they did this odd thing, but they stayed about a day and a half, and then they were gone. And I was going, oh well, they went home or whatever. About 4 days later, I hear some barking from my Shelties, and I went outside and I looked down underneath the deck, and there they are. They're back. And so they would repeat this cycle of staying a while and going away a while, but each time they'd stay longer, and each time they're away, they stayed a shorter time away. So it was working out. They must have cycled through this cycle maybe 3, maybe 4 times. And so there's a couple of stories going on here. It's getting them socialized and getting them some skills, plus getting them cleaned up and their medical attention, plus chasing after them when they're gone, and learning their background. All kind of rolled together. So The first time they went away, they came back. The second time they stayed a little longer, maybe 4 days. Then it started to clean. I wanted to start to clean them up and want to find out their history. They would not let me come at them with tools in my hand. When you see a dog that needs to be cleaned up, you think about taking it maybe to a groomer or something like this. I could not approach them with a brush or a pair of scissors, clippers of anything in my hand. They would back off, run away. And so to get the burrs out, I just would simply grab the mats and just start pulling them apart. And I would do this for hours. Just grab burrs and just and mats and just pull them apart. And so did this for days like this. And this is all they would let me do. Still couldn't get close to them with anything in my hand. They'd back off. I made the mistake once of trying to spray one of them with some anti-tangle. And that was foul for. I sprayed him and he took off, backed off a distance. He wouldn't come at me for another 2 hours after that. Hey, boy. And so I finally got to the point where I could slip a small pair of scissors in my back pocket. And if they didn't see from behind, I could start clipping a little bit. It took a while, and a long while before they let me come at them with a brush or anything in my hand. This is how sensitive they were. Hey, buddy. Yeah.
You got dogs barking?
Again, broken up here.
We have two questions, Paul. I don't want to interrupt. One question is, how long ago did this start? When Hagrid and Falco showed up?
When it started, it was probably 2 years ago. I remember the day they showed up was on March 5. Is when they showed up on March 5. The first time they showed up, and then they were a day and a half, and then gone, and then they. So it was over. So it's been over 2 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we've been through some change there. So we were working with dogs that they seem to have. Were just totally alien. Didn't seem to have much contact with people, but they were friendly enough. I could touch them, and of course, I wanted to find out more about them. I took out an ad on Facebook page. I got these two dogs. Anybody know anything about them? Looked at the usual lost and found sites. I took those ads out. I even said that I was describing Hagrid. I say, someone's taught this dog how to shake hands. And silly me, he was giving me the peer paw. That's just someone's taught this dog. But someone did recognize them, someone who worked on a farm a couple miles away, an organic farm, and said these look like the two nuisance dogs that have been hanging around. They cause a lot of trouble. And so now I'll start my detective work. I go over and to the farm and I meet the owner of the farm and talk to him and show him, my pictures of the dog. Here's the dogs. And he goes, yeah, I know those dogs. Those are nuisance dogs. They come over here all the time. They cause a big problem. They raid the trash cans, he says, and they poop and pee on my walkways here, this organic. And I can't have that, because this has been inspected by the ag department. I can't have that. I can't have any complaints. He says this, and says they fight with other dogs. He says they learn when all the other dogs get fed, and they'll go and fight with the other dogs and take their food away. And they fought with other dogs. They fought with his dogs. He says, and they're just nuisance dogs. They're just ugly and smelly and have no. And he says, everybody feels the same way. And he's called the pound on them several times, but the pound won't, animal control really can't get them. And they can't catch them. And he says, more or less, he says, I'm not going to lose my organic license. Those dogs can't stay around here. If I see them around here again, I'm going to shoot them. And so, so that's sort of a serious to me. I need to settle these dogs real quick. I've fallen in love with them in just a few days. I don't want to get shot, so I need to settle them on my farm and leave this other farm alone. He gives me a hint about where they might be staying. there's an elderly lady that's across the road up the hill, and he thinks they stay there. And I did. I took off up there, and there they were. There they were. They were there. And I talked to her about them, and she says, "Oh, they're community dogs. No, you can't have them." She wouldn't let me have them. They're community dogs. They come everywhere. They go here. They go there. They beg for food. She likes them because they keep the coyotes away, but she doesn't do much for them. She doesn't have a space for them. They kind of. She just has an outdoor sort of patio deck or something that they hide under. There's no real rain protection for them. She feeds them a bag of dog food, but doesn't vet them or groom them. But she said, "Oh, the original owner is down the road here. Again, Roger here. Go see him. He was the original owner." So I dash off to see Roger. I knock on his door. He comes out. And I go, "Do you have two big Great Pyrenees?" And his first words were, "What have they done now?" I go, no. I said, I love them. I want them. And then I just started like begging for them. I said, I want these dogs. And this lady down here, she won't let me have them. and Roger says, okay. He says, next time if the dogs come to you on your farm and you don't fence them or tether them or restrict them, if they want to stay, he says, just consider them your dogs. You can keep them. I said, great, So I go home and they show up again. I don't know if that's the second or third time they show up or how long they stay. It gets old and confused, but they show up. And so their ventures get more and more settled. I think the last time that they went away for a long time and came back, it was like Falcor came back without Hagrid. That's the first time I've seen that. And I panicked. I took out an ad on the Lost and Found site, that these two are inseparable, and one's lost, and I went on a search. I went all the places they might have gone, and came back home. And 10 hours later, here comes Hagrid, and I go, well, this is interesting. It's almost like the dogs have decided that if they ever get separated, my farm is the place where they will reunite. Is what I'm thinking. I said, I kind of put that in the human terms. I don't know if it's true, but I think they kind of decided that was already they're going to be their home. And oddly, what's a home for a dog? They just picked a spot next to a parked car that was going to be their home. It was just a spot of grass, and that's where I'd always find them. That's where I'd go groom them, and so it ended up being a big pile of matted fur and burrs right in that one spot. And I'd go, and I was trying to get these dogs to settle with me and bond with me real quick. So I would spend a whole lot of time with them. I would take pillows and blankets. I'd go out and sleep with them. I'd just groom them over and over again. I'd just say sweet things to them. I was spending a lot of time with them because I thought it was very important to get them settled so they don't go to the other farm and get shot. Or in the other cases, they might get hit by a car. They were traversing a very busy highway, and everyone was concerned that they might get, everybody, it's a busy highway, was concerned they might get hit as much as they cross it. So I just needed to have them bond with me. And finally, they did settle down. They stopped making big trips like that. They would still make trips off the farm about once a day for just an hour or two, but they would always come back. And
what about nowadays?
Oh, no, they don't go anywhere.
They just stay home. Do they ever come indoors in the house?
Oh, they got their own dog door. Yeah, they come in anytime they want to. Yeah.
But they're on duty right now, and we can't see them, right?
No, they're on duty. Yeah, they're coyotes. They're going to bark at them for a while. Now they've gotten older, and they've been neutered, and they've gotten big. They're more, they don't chase as much as they just stand back and bark a lot. They still love to bark. They're not going to give that up ever. And one of the things, problems I had, one of the skills to work on is people say resource guarding or fighting over food. Well, Hagrid and Falcor were just like that. I mean, about from day 2 of feeding them, I noticed that they would go at each other. I mean, I thought they were going to bring blood. They would be fighting each other for food. And I was told that was the reputation they had. They said they were a nuisance. All these dogs fought for the food. They fought each other. They fight all the neighborhood dogs to try to steal food away from them. So they were fighters for food, and this is what they were doing with me. They were fighting for food. And I said, got to stop that. That's not. Someone's gonna get hurt, and there's no reason for it. And but I was noticing that they had that aspect where they were very aggressive to each other when they were feeding. But then they had another point where they were just out in the field being two bonded brothers, and they would play fight. And so they would play fight. And like I said, this is still in maybe in March or something, still kind of cool weather. So I was wearing my heavy jeans and a nice heavy sweatshirt, and they were playing, kind of growling and batting teeth around and knocking each other over. And I said, well, this looks like fun. So I just jumped in there with them, and yeah, and they knocked me down, they rolled me over, they sat on me, they slobbered on me, and they do that soft mouth, where they grab you with their mouth, but they don't really, they really don't try to break your skin, unless you're like a fragile skinned old man.
I can picture this right now.
I know.
You getting thrown around like a rag doll.
Oh, and they're big, and when they both decide to sit on you at the same time, you're just helpless. You're like I'm here. When are you gonna let me up?
I wish we could have got that on video.
I would. It's because there's some really early videos on the Facebook page here of them playing. And they look pretty, and they're amazing. They look kind of brutal, but they're having fun at it. So now that I know that they're not going to hurt me or bite me, I'm going to say I can use this. I can use this. So the next time I fed them, I had my two food bowls here, the pig red food bowls, and they always would fight over food. They always, whatever one wanted, the other one wanted. So they were always trying to get one food bowl and fight the other one for it. So I did the little dance where you have to swing around and you try to walk between the two dogs, you try to separate. And as soon as I got the dogs where they would, like, one was looking at one food bowl and one was looking at the other food bowl, then I would just sit down immediately. Boom, boom. And I would be between them. And I go, they're not going to fight because they're not going to go through me to get at each other. So, and I would be between them. And I'd say, who's a good boy, things like this.
Brave man.
And because I was between the two, they wouldn't fight, and did that for about a week, and then the food aggression, or what do you want to call it, was over. It was just done with. Boom, and just took a week of sitting between them.
You got two behaviorists paying very close attention.
It worked. It worked. I mean, and they had the reputation of fighting, and they certainly were. It wasn't the same fighting as when they were out in the fields playing with each other. That was play fighting, and then there was this fighting over food where I thought they were going to, bring blood to each other. But
when you first saw them, did you know what breed they were? Were you already familiar with the Great Pyrenees?
I was familiar with that breed, just barely familiar with the breed. Someone else in the farm community actually had a pair of a male-female pair of Pyrenees, and that's exactly who I thought I was looking at the first time I saw them at the distance. I said, that's the pair I'm familiar with. I'm going to bring them here, but as soon as they started to get close, I see how ratty they look. Oh my gosh, no, and in fact, how bad they were, how long I worked on them. I worked on them for 3 weeks, but before I found out they still had grooming them for 3 weeks. I groomed them for 3 weeks before I found out they still had their testicles.
Oh, that's how long it took to find them?
Yeah. And I just thought I said, well, these are just some more cockleburrs here. Don't do that.
Not as potent.
Yeah.
Boy, thank goodness you realized they were testicles.
I wouldn't like that too
You
much.
might have had a couple of dogs kind of upset with you.
Oh no.
Yeah, it was amazing. I get up every morning. The first thing I do is look out on that spot to see if the dogs were still there in the little spot, and they would be there. And the shelties were still at the same time. Just a fence row away. They, just a matter of 10, 12, 15 feet, wherever and the shelter is, I'm going to eat you up, you know. And the Pyrenees would just look at them, sometimes come sniff them. Sometimes the Pyrenees would walk over and lift a leg and pee on them, you know. and so, you know, but that can't go on forever, and had to work up a plan to get everybody integrated. And that may be another segment of the story. I don't know how much time
Well, we're going to have another part here because we are running out of time. But we also have other dogs. Buttercup is one of them.
Yep.
That have been are integrating. Is that correct?
Oh, yes, yeah.
So when, how long did it take in your mind before Hagrid and Falcor stopped going on their adventures on a daily? Was that quickly or
on a daily basis?
Yeah.
On the long journeys, it took maybe a month, maybe 6 weeks or something for the long journeys. The shorter journeys, just I'd say that were just an hour or two each day. Just recently, just when I put up redid the fence rows, so they couldn't get under it anymore.
The boundaries.
Yeah, so they would still go under the fence row, but they would just go for an hour or so. They just wanted to adventure. I think that their boundary was that you know, they had a bigger view of the world than just my fence row.
But they know where home is.
Oh yeah, and they never caused any trouble. Those two never caused any trouble, and they were perfect Pyrenees. But to a point, someone who doesn't know Pyrenees, that might seem like a problem because behind me is a cattle farmer, and when the cows would give birth, both Hagrid and Falcor would want to go slip under the fence and go be beside the cow, watch it give birth. And that's kind of a natural instinct for the Pyrenees. But if the cow doesn't know these dogs, the cow doesn't know what's going on. And if the farmer doesn't know what's going on, then the farmer's upset, thinks that these dogs are going to attack the. And you know, even the point where the dogs, the Pyrenees would want to clean up the calf like the mother would want to clean it up. But if you don't know the Pyrenees, then you don't know what's going on. You don't understand it. And if the cows aren't used to the Pyrenees, they don't understand it either. So there's always going to be a little bit of misunderstanding there. So maybe it's better that they don't mix. I have total faith in my dogs that they would never hurt a cow in any way, but they sure do have an interest in a cow that's giving birth. They are very nurturing. They want to be right there. And that might create a little bit of misunderstanding. So maybe the fence is a good thing to stop that. So
I would think that by now the farmers themselves know you and what you do.
I would hope so. But
I would hope so too. If not, tell them to watch the show. Okay? Problem solved. Okay.
Well, and actually, there was no real problem between or any talk of the dogs even until it was Boo started slipping under the fence, and he's young, you know, he's not even 2 years old yet, but he would chase the cattle. Supposedly, is what the reports were. They would chase the cattle, and you know, I thought about what to do about that. You know, what do you do about that? People say conventional wisdom around here. Every farmer would give me the advice. They go, get rid of the dog, and I go, no, I can't get rid of the dog. You know, I love this dog. You can't get rid of it. The other wisdom was, you know, build a pen. You know, get one of those little 6x6 pens, put the dog in. I put it on its tether or something like that. I can't do that. You know. So we're going to put up a fence for it, you know, and if I talk to its true owner, say, hey, your dog is chasing cattle, which I did talk to him a couple of times about it. But I knew if I pressed him over the fact, his dog would probably, if I kept pressing, that dog would probably end up, you know, in a shelter or dropped off or something, you know, bad. So the fence, you know, so. There you go. It seems like a lot of work, but it's, you know, it's a good solution. It gives the dogs as much freedom as it can. Yeah, it's been quite a trip. I, it's remarkable that those two dogs, Hagrid and Falcon, went from a point where I could not even approach them. And then this is a working farm, right? It's a working farm, so I'm always got a tool in my hand. I got a drill or a pair of pliers or even snippers or so I couldn't even walk past the dogs with a tool in my hand. I would have to make a detour around the dogs if I was carrying a tool. But it went from that to a point in a couple, within a couple of months, went from that to a point where I could carry a shovel and actually step over the dogs and they wouldn't flinch. So it's just a matter of how much time you spend with them. You got to spend a lot of time, and so I guess that's the start of it, and that's their outside the fence story. It's more interesting trying to get them integrated inside the fence.
Okay.
But we might want to hold up on another show for that, unless you got.
We're going to have you back on, that's for sure. In closing, we have one last question. Any idea how old they are?
Oh yeah. When I found the owner, he told me exactly how old they are. When they came to me, when I found them, they were a little over 3 years old. They were born in February, and this was March of the third year. And the vet even told me that when he saw them, he said, I thought I had dogs that are 8 or 9 or 10 years old. He goes, oh, don't look at their teeth. He goes, oh, these dogs are only 3 years old. I go, oh my God,
Wow, you missed that by quite a ways.
I know, I'm going to keep these dogs for another 10 years, more. Wow, that's I made a big commitment and didn't know it, but I love them. So here they are. And so now what are they? I guess they're like they were 5 in February, so 5 and what's ninth month, 5 and 7 months old is I guess what it is. What now? Yeah.
All right. So then that actually answers one of the other questions that Shannon had. Did you ever figure out where the boys came from?
Yeah. That didn't take too much time. A little detective work. There was, went to Facebook ads. One answer to the Facebook ads said these look like the 2 nasty nuisance dogs hanging out at this farm. Went to the farm. He said, I'm going to shoot them, these nuisance dogs if you don't do something with. And he pointed to the lady up on the hill, went up there to the hill, and there's where and she says, oh, the original is this guy named Roy. He's over here. And so I went to see him and got the story from him. And when they came from Western Kentucky. An interesting story there. He said he went to pick them up, and they were 11 weeks old at the time. Went to pick them up. So he went to pick them up, and the mother had taken them on a walkabout, and they couldn't find the dogs. They couldn't find the mother. They couldn't find the dogs. She had taken them out for a daily walkabout or something. So for the hours they searched for the puppies and the mother, they were gone. But they came back that night, and then the seller and the new owner decided to meet halfway. And they drove each about a couple hours and met each other and exchanged the dogs there the next day. But it's interesting and a good thing that they kept them that long. It's good to keep them, I understand, up to 12 weeks with the mother, but that usually doesn't happen. So 11 weeks with the mother, that's pretty outstanding. So they probably learned a lot during those 11 weeks. It probably made them very nice dogs, what they are now. And the story is he said that the father of these dogs lived with a goat herd, right. And never left the herd, never came inside, never left the herd, was with the herd all the whole time. Sure. And that the mother dog was a farm dog as well, lived outside and protected the farm. So they had very good breeding, and they do show excellent qualities. But
so you got.
Breaks my heart that I had to have them neutered, because there's so many Pyrenees running around now that don't have homes, but they're not all, they don't do the justice to the reputation. Not all of them.
Now we have breeders out there that are taking care of the bloodlines for us.
Oh yeah, I'm sure about that, but there's still so many out there.
Right. Right. Well, Paul, we have to move on here. We've got some folks that are waiting on Roman and my and Linda's take and Reagan's take on, well, our talking point. But I'll tell you what, we do want to have you back on because next time, if Hazel's there, we want to see her. Is that fair?
Yeah, sure.
Paul, thanks for coming on. You're more than welcome to watch the rest of the show from the green room. Or we can keep you up here. I don't care. We'll keep you up here for a little while. You want to stay up here?
Well, put me down because I'm going to walk
Okay.
around. If I can find Hazel, I'll put her on the.
If I see Hazel down there, we're bringing you up. How's
Okay.
that?
All right.
All right, Paul. Thank you. All right. So now we have the question is, have you adopted a peer from a peer rescue? Okay. And now about couple weeks have gone by, and all of a sudden your dog seems to be settled in, and now you want to show him off. And let's invite our friends over. Your peer has another idea. He's saying, no, my house.
Mm-hmm.
My friends come over, not your friends. And now we have a problem because you get a friend coming over. Now your friend's scared because here's your brand new dog that is so loving and gentle, wanting, well, scaring the bejesus out of your friend. And now what's happening with the peer? What's going on here? What happened? Well, I have a take on that. Number one, you didn't build a relationship with your dog. You didn't give your dog knowledge. You didn't give your dog knowledge through guidance.
Yes.
It doesn't know the rules. Roman?
I agree. I agree with that. We always have to see when a dog comes in a new home, and there are no rules in place, and there is no relationship base, and the dog doesn't have big trust in that.
Sorry, Roman. There's Hazel. Go ahead. We're listening.
So if there is no trust, if the dog doesn't feel in control, and the dog doesn't have a secure attachment, the problem becomes visible when a new situation comes into the house. So we see a friend coming over, the dog sees a stranger coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when the dog comes into the house, we have to see where the dog is coming from before. What happened in the previous home? Why did he lost his house? So from a dog's perspective, the reason why he lost his house is because he wasn't protecting enough, right? So a stranger came to the house, or the dog was adopted with strangers, and then all of a sudden he lost his family. What would the dog think about this new person coming in the house? There is no clear definition, so the dog makes an assumption. Well, he's not coming with no good, and maybe the dog was surrendered to the house, so was surrendered to the rescue because of certain behaviors. Now, if we don't take care of those behaviors and let the dog just settle in, doing what he did last time, just even more, then he's going to end up with these problems. Now, if a dog feels safe in that place and he wants to keep it that way, then it would be the issue that the dog will create. Will create a situation where he wants that to stop from happening. So he shows a functional behavior. I challenge the person backs away. My mom has nothing to say about it because I'll take care of business. And we come with this assumption that a dog is just fine because he's just my friend. I tell the dog, hey, he's just my friend, and the dog should figure it out what a friend means. So it's not working that way. So what we usually do here is, if we know that a dog has a history of growling at strangers, we need to take that into consideration when we come in into the new home. They do show them a process of how to desensitize the new people, create a pattern. These who come through the door come with good intentions. Okay, I'll call you when I confirm that these people are safe, and create a greeting ritual, because obviously the dog didn't have a greeting ritual. The last time he did it, he felt like he lost his home. So we see also a little bit of PTSD here. But we have to be very careful about I don't want to generalize the idea that dog who growls at strangers has this past, or was abused, or was neglected, or wasn't socialized. But we have to find the reason of that, and we can look a little bit on the patterns, how it started. Of course, this dog, to come into this new home, trusted those people, so there is a good base there. But once the dog settles in the house, he doesn't want that to change, and every new situation is a challenge for the dog. The question is, what is the dog thinking when a new person comes in? And this is where the training comes in, the behavior modification. We want the dog to change the way he thinks things gonna go with a new person coming in. Make sense?
Yes.
Absolutely.
And sorry for the distraction, but this is Hazel.
I know.
You know, for the folks that signed off when Paul went down to the green room, they don't know what they're missing. And look at Hazel looking at me talk.
Hazel.
Look at Hazel. Sorry, Roman.
Pretty girl.
It's there. I mean, now when we do have that situation, and how do we get it back? How do we make the dog comfortable with our guests, like as comfortable as Hazel is?
Well, that needs a reset in the whole picture. The dog needs to understand certain concepts. So we need to see, what is the dog thinking about the situation? How is the dog triggered by the door? How is the dog triggered by the sound of something coming up? And so sometimes we need to desensitize those individual steps before we actually bring another person in. Ideas of feeling safe, following through, understanding what a safe place is, understanding the ritual of how do we greet people. We come up, we sit, we get affection, and we walk away from it. And understanding that if a person says, leave it, meaning is don't interact with that, right? And so there are so many concepts that are not done right. If the dog makes the decision, we have to address everything and start from scratch. Because we have a guardian breed, his job is to protect his family from intruders. If he sees a person, no matter what comes from the door, is an intruder, we have to change the mindset. What is an intruder? And if
so there are things we can do to address this. It's never too late.
But it depends on how you create that hierarchy. What's coming first? What's coming next? Who's on third? Kind of thing, right? So it's not as simple. In other words, if we take that in a human level, if your partner is cheating, and now your partner brings another person in the house, how long will it take you to feel comfortable with a person coming into your house that your partner brought in? You have to overcome certain traumas around that part. It's not as simple. Right. Yes, of course, you can go the short route and punish the dog for doing something that you don't want, but it's so short-handed, you're going to end up failing the dog, and the dog is going to end up in the house. Because you have to see the trauma in that behavior. It's not just the behavior because the dog likes doing that. There's a reason for doing that. And the reason likely is a traumatic experience. Or he doesn't know what's going to happen. And so his genetics comes in and tell him what to do. And so we don't have a conscious dog.
So the best thing to do is start from day one of getting our dog.
Right. You have to be proactive rather than reactive, especially if you get a dog from a rescue or a shelter where we don't exactly know what exactly happened because nobody knows what happened. Otherwise, it would be addressed.
Right.
Is it
unless it's happening? One of my dogs, they're perfect. So you don't have to worry about any of it.
There you go.
So that's why I suggest a dog who comes from a foster home or from a rescue who has all these safety features in place is a safe dog to be adopted. At least, worst case scenario, the dog could go back to his foster home and start working there before he goes to the next home. So the whole idea of a foster home is to prepare the dog in these kind of crisis situations. What's happening if new people come in? Okay, what happens if you have to leave the house? Because dogs who come in your home also going through grief. They lost their family, they lost their previous foster, their friends, the things they knew. So we have to see that as a whole complex system. Not just training, like train it out of it, click it, and that just go away. No, there are emotions to be addressed, and emotions you cannot just condition emotions away. You have to think about you have to have solutions to problems, and that's what makes change.
Yes. Training doesn't fix everything. That's why
No.
that's why there are behavior
Yes.
consultants. So
Yes.
anyway, look at that face, boy. Um,
She's beautiful.
There are going to be a lot of people watching the replay of this saying, "Dang, I wish I would have stayed on."
Mhm.
She's beautiful, Paul. Nice work.
Thank you.
Hazel. Pretty girl. Hi, pretty girl.
She's the Roman. She's the girl
Hi.
that brought everything up.
So I need to let you go, guys, because I have to take my dog out.
Okay, Roman.
Thanks, Roman.
Thank you,
Going
Roman.
after my pillows. It says, passive aggressive. Going after your pillows.
All right, bye.
Thanks, Roman.
Bye, Roman.
Bye.
Yeah.
Well,
So now to a lot of people, Paul, they're going to, the newbies like me,
mhm.
we're going to think that that's the dog that started the whole journey.
Mhm.
But no, there was much more to that one.
Yeah,
Yes.
yes.
All right.
She's just beautiful.
GPRescue.com for those of you hanging out with us. If it's happening, that's where it happens. You know, we have sections in there that, well, you can get to know the breed. Okay. And that could answer some behavior questions or training questions that you could have.
Mhm.
All right. We have the about the rescue is all about you can meet Ken and Linda and Reagan.
Mhm.
All
Mhm.
right, and you can read about them. And next week now, I don't
Mhm.
mean to stray here, but we're going to have a really good show. All
Yes.
right? I'll tell you, got to give them a touch of a preview.
Yes. So everyone remembers Buddy and Snowflake that went to Northern California. There was a dog there that everyone knew as Odin, who saved the livestock during the forest fires in Northern California when he had passed. And we were in touch with the owners, and our Buddy and Snowflake went there to help their female, you know, guard the livestock. And they are just doing fantastic. They really are. I mean, wow, I can't wait to have Roland on the show and give you an update on those two
Next week,
next week.
right here, Buddy and
Mhm.
Snowflake in California. And
Yes.
we're going to try to have everybody involved on too. So
Yes. Yes.
Glenn, if you're watching, we'll be in touch definitely.
Mhm. And everybody, don't forget to get your sweatshirts. You can find the link on our page,
Yes.
our All About Dogs page, and also on the Great Pyrenees Rescue Missouri page. Also, if you're friends with Reagan or I, we both shared it on our personal pages, so
Yes.
you can find it on there also.
I'll share it on mine.
100% of the proceeds go all right to the animals.
I mean, I'll be happy to share it on mine, but nobody watches mine because I don't ever post anything.
What did you say, Reagan? I'm sorry.
Dogs.
All about the dogs.
All about the dogs.
Always.
And right there's one right there. There's
Yes.
Hazel is a superstar. All right.
Hazel, yay.
Paul, is she officially your dog now?
I don't think there's ever going to be anything official. No, but it'll eventually be mine. She'll be mine.
Okay.
Well, she's already owned you, Paul.
Looks
so
to me like it's official. From
yes,
what I'm seeing. I mean, I'm witnessing this.
Yep.
Yeah, sweet girl.
What a sweetheart. She's a couch potato. I love it. That's a good way to start.
I might have something to add about when we introduce. I guess we're off the air, but when we introduce.
We're on the air.
When I introduce a new person, when I bring a stranger or a new person over to the house, and I want to make sure everything goes right, is that I want to show the dog that this person is a friend of mine. And this person is trustworthy, so I make sure that we're standing close to each other, that we're talking to each other, that we're smiling and exchanging, and showing confidence in each other. So I want the dog to see that the stranger that I'm bringing is someone that I really trust and believe in and think is a friendly person. And any gestures you can make towards to the new person that shows that you trust him and
You
honor
have a
it.
relationship with her too, Paul, and that's what we were saying. You have to have a relationship.
That is true.
And you clearly have a relationship with your dogs.
So
Yes.
if your dog trusts you, and if you trust the person you're bringing, then there should be some sort of connection there. So
There's an understanding. Yes.
And
Yes.
Susan seemed to be a little concerned that she was late. Susan, you're not late. That's Hazel. Paul, when he was
Yes.
done, we kind of kind of nudged him over to put the camera on Hazel. So you're not too late to see Hazel. So, and there she is. That's this is. I'm excited. I'm just starstruck. All right. I mean, this is Hazel. Okay?
Yes.
She's an amazing girl.
she's a good mama.
She is an amazing girl. I wonder what breed she is.
They keep telling me she's Anatolian, but I don't know.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, maybe. Anatolians, yeah,
She
a
might
little
have a little
darker than
mix in
that,
her.
but
She
she's
might have
young. She's a
she might
baby.
have a little Pyrenees in her because her puppies had double dew claws.
Oh, I think she does, Paul.
I think she has Pyr in her, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I was curious what the other breed was because that's unique. She's unique looking.
I don't know. What do you think, Steve? Maybe Akbash?
Not in that area.
No.
That would be unusual. Yeah. But I wouldn't rule it out. Eyes are wrong.
She's
I
a
would say-
she has guarding tendency, and she's built for speed too.
I was going to say some sort of a hound.
Yeah.
Do you think it's hard to say? All right, everybody, what's Hazel mixed with? Let's get it in the comments. And
She's 100% beautiful.
there's her mix right there.
Yes.
100% beautiful. I like.
We don't
that.
care which are, Hazel. You're gorgeous.
All right, everybody, we got it in. We got our show done. It only took us 2 weeks, but we got it done. Paul, will you come back and for part 3 sometime? Maybe next week. Next week. You're more than welcome to come on, but the show's going to be dedicated to Buddy and Snowflake.
Well, we'll make it some other time. We'll make it a time. We'll get
You're more welcome to come on. We don't want you to forget us at all.
Okay.
And we were kind of serious about co-hosting sometimes.
You
You're actually getting pretty good at this. Those are those scars on her face?
They are, but I don't think they're fighting scars. I think that she had to go through so many fence rows, and the fence rows in Kentucky are usually for cattle. It's 3 strands of barbed wire, and so I think she's been underneath a lot of barbed wire.
Okay, that's why I don't like barbed wire. But but I'm not going to go against anything like that because who am I to tell anybody they're doing something wrong? Okay.
I do all the time.
Let her tell you. There's your voice right there. I know you do, Linda.
I'm teasing. Not really.
That's what this show's about. We like to have fun.
Yes.
And
thanks for joining, everyone. We really appreciate it.
We had a ball tonight. And by the way, Nancy thinks she looks like an Anatolian Akbash.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, you can't rule it out because there's not an abundance of Akbash down where Paul is, but we don't know that for sure.
No.
Okay. Tell you what, if this was in Montana, I would say Anatolian Akbash. Okay, or as they call them in Colorado Mountain Dog. That's what they call it, Anatolian. And Akbash, but. Poor Carol up there at the Montana Rescue, half of her dogs are Akbash, right? And or Akbash Pyr mixes, but she's got quite a few Pyrs. Another good rescue. Okay. DNA would be the only way to really know that for sure.
Yes.
And then that's sometimes a crapshoot. So, all right, everybody, thank you for joining us. We're gonna see you next week. I'm very excited about next week's show. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Producer, for bringing that one up. she's a pusher. I mean, she gets pushy, doesn't she, Paul? She got to have her loving. Well, she's a little bit bigger than I expected from what I'm seeing here.
Well, what is she? She's still smaller than the other Pyrenees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love the couch potato. Anyway, once again, we'll try to make our exit.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Don't forget the hoodies. All right. How many more days left in that?
8 days.
8 more days.
Yep.
Get your hoodies. Help us help the dogs. That's how.
And
we
our
do
next fundraiser will be the hats. So
thank God.
Look for those.
Oh, thank God.
As soon as we decide on a design, we'll have those hats put out there.
All right. Well, yeah, and yeah, I can't wait because I'm a hat guy. You know, I haven't been wearing hats. I don't have one, so.
Well, we'll get you one.
And everybody, don't forget, this is an emergency. Okay.
Yes.
And Kansas, message Linda. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not friends with Linda, boy, she's gonna kill me now. Send her an email. Okay? All right. If you have questions.
But I bet you're friends with Reagan, so you can message her.
There you go. There you go.
Yes.
So, let's save this dog. This dog doesn't deserve what his fate will be. Okay?
Just right off. I mean, off topic. 1 second, Reagan. How many dogs have you placed this year?
Oh, I don't know.
Upside down.
It's got to be over 50, 60.
This year?
Somewhere in there. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, how many returns have you had from that? From the adoptions?
From our adoptions?
From
we had-
us?
Yeah.
None.
None.
0.
Okay. Why
No.
not? We'll go into that.
Yeah.
We'll go into that,
I know.
okay?
Because
All
there's
right. Because your dogs are perfect.
yes,
That's right.
they're
I love the upside down shot, Paul. I'm sorry,
right.
I can't get away from Hazel. I'm sorry.
All right,
Neither can
guys.
the viewers. We got to go, everybody.
Yes.
Yes,
We'll
Susan,
see y'all next
that
week.
is Hazel. Let me get us queued up here. Bye, everybody.
uh,